Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Victoria 2 Historical Flavor Mod, playing as Ethiopia. When I last left off, I had a brief shit show of a recording session between the last episode and this one, in which my next-door neighbor fired off a bunch of very loud and almost certainly illegal fireworks, which ended up scaring my dogs and scattering them all about the house, and I had to take care of a lot of stuff. Fortunately, we didn't really miss much. The Spring of Nations finished much as it did in our timeline, with France, at least for now, as a republic, Austria having restored its empire, but at a great cost to its national cohesion and unity, and we were able to fabricate a CB against Majertine, with no or a minimal amount of infamy, by which I mean no. It was that's generally a sort of risk you don't generally want to take the full 22 but at some point I'm going to have to find a neighbor to conquer to boost my prestige, if nothing else, and also to boost my research points now that I have foreign trained officers. In any case, this should be a very quick war. Even half my army vastly outnumbers theirs. So this should get us the entire Horn. Now, as for what we'd conquer next, we would need, at some point, to build at least a small amount of ships. So, I mean, above all else, that's one reason why we need more coastline. But, yeah, I have my eyes set on a rather implausible conquest target further north, which I will reveal when the time comes. But in the meantime, we are in the relatively slow-paced portion of the game between the reunification of Ethiopia and the point at which we make Ethiopians. Well, it seems the Mexican dictatorship is not what it used to be. That's useful and worth knowing. But yes, the United States won the Mexican-American War, as it did in our timeline, and also signed the treaty with Britain that set the boundary with Canada at the 49th parallel. So, not a whole lot of major divergences yet, other than independent Egypt. At least independent for now. Britain has been curiously inactive on the world stage. They're not very good at being imperialists in this timeline. I think the French are doing a somewhat better job of maintaining control over the Mediterranean. So that is a divergence whose consequences we are going to want to watch out for. Having our intellectuals gain consciousness is actually kind of a good thing. Our population's consciousness is pretty low right now. Meantime, especially considering we're about to see our consciousness go down. But this is either going to be a rivalry, or I'm going to watch the French or possibly the British stomp Egypt a mud hole and walk it dry. So, yeah, there's with regards to Egypt and with regards to the relatively inactive Britain, I'm not certain what consequences that is going to have for us. because Britain's activities in the Mediterranean and Red Seas were major events in Ethiopian history. And given that they aren't happening now, I am not sure what that means for us. But, yeah, our pops in occupied territory losing militancy is always a good thing. But I should probably begin creating some ships, because at some point, whether I am going to want to attack across the ocean for our next conquest target. If you know the geology of the Carboniferous period, you might be able to guess, if you also know the total number of RGOs, or the location of RGOs in Victoria 2, you might know what my target will be. But for now, the world is at peace. Gonna make this our rallying point for our ships. Boy, that prestige drain is annoying. Again, makes me wish I had not failed as hard with Tigray as I did. Actually, forget the Clipper transports. I'm not ready for the target I was going for. Might as well just finish off Somalia and take Galeti. So I will see you when we have that CB. And we are back. Our CB was detected for a little over 8 infamy. That'll be alright though. Hopefully we can get at least a couple thousand research points out of Galeti. We'll have to see. But it's something to do for now, as we cannot yet create any more particularly major shifts in our pops other than what we're doing. We're encouraging intellectuals as fast as we can in Gondar, but our bourgeoisie is slowly increasing in size, but we can't build any factories yet, and our major reforms are still a ways off. So we've got a ways to go, and about And only about 28 years to do it before the scramble of Africa starts in earnest, and we have to risk getting fucked, basically. That's your race against the clock when you are attempting to modernize as any African country, because most of these countries here that you see here in Africa, they're not gonna be around anymore at the end of this game. Maybe Egypt will be, but even then, I suspect France or Britain is going to come sneak in sometime post-Suez and take them out. In the meantime, well, it seems our artisans are doing quite well for themselves. They are, let's see, what are they making? Appear to be making mostly luxury furniture. Makes sense. Luxury furniture is something you make with one of the things you can use to make them is tropical wood. So, I mean, which is not as useful as the rubber that this will become, but that's something that sells. That's something that people want. Some of the rest of them are making liquor. That's something that the thing is, that's something that there's always demand for. So when the time comes to build factories, liquor distilleries tend to be a very good choice. And glass. So yeah, this requires the importation of coal, I believe. So yeah. And we've got others making cement, so we are importing some coal. I don't believe the, yeah, sometimes there is a chance that coal will spawn about here, because there is some about there, roughly there in Ethiopia in real life, although much of it is lignite, the least useful form of coal. Our deposits are quite limited, so we are going to have to look elsewhere to acquire more coal, which in HFM is very, very important. Less so in the base game. But there's not a whole lot of it anywhere in Africa, so we are going to have to look to conquer ourselves some. So, what's the crisis right now? Congress Poland wants to be liberated, it seems. Let's see who sides with whom. Now Austria is backing Poland. Perhaps to weaken Russia? It's about the only logic I can think of. Russia, who in this timeline is siding with the Ottomans, while the UK has been siding against them. It's just the weirdest thing about this timeline. It doesn't really, you know, I only have to imagine that Britain has decided to side more with France, although, you know, they're not aligned with them yet. Now, let's see who's... No, France seems to be siding with Russia as well. Britain is... Britain's isolationism is, yeah, it may lead to a very different 19th century, a different European country taking advantage of the areas along the periphery, as it were. But we've won the war with Galetti. How many research points did we get? Not that many. We want to get this, or at least this. And I wish our infamy were lower. We need to be on the war footing, as it were. Well, here comes, here's Britain's interference in our lives. Something very much like something very much like what led to the Opium War in the first place. They're bringing it to our shores. We can either basically destroy our RGO throughput in Zila for the rest of the game, or completely fuck them when it comes to life needs. What is foreign trading post doing for us? Boosting our life needs. I guess we're just gonna have to close the trade station and say fuck Britain. Keep them out of here. Let's boost our relations with France some more. Spanish intervention in Egypt. Now here we go. The Russians are siding with the Ottomans, and so is Spain. They want the Ottomans to acquire all states with core provinces, and the UK, in the meantime, is focusing more along the lines of India. While Spain and Russia are siding with the Ottomans. Well, rip Egypt. I will skip ahead whenever something else happens next. Or actually, I think this is a good. I just saw the timer. This should be a good place to end this episode. Until next time, I have been Maricati. You have been you. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Keep watching.